Welcome to the Own It Sister podcast with the amazing life coach, Sarah Oxendine.
Aloha, everybody. How are you? This is Sarah Oxendine here with the Own It Sister podcast, episode number 4. Our topic today is points of view. So this is I chose this topic specifically because I really feel like so many of you are going to benefit from having this conversation. And it's points of view. And first, I just want to kind of start with the reason any human has a specific point of view. It's because a point of view comes from your life circumstances, your situations, the things that you've seen, the things that you've heard, your experiences, your personal experiences in life, and the experiences that others have shared with you. And because of those experiences, it has created your point of view, different perspectives. And it's actually a really, really beautiful thing that we all do not have the same point of view. And in fact, the only way that would be possible is if we all lived the exact same life, had the exact same experiences, had the exact same thoughts about those experiences. Basically, we'd have to be the exact same person, because you can even have the same experience, but because we each have our own individual human brain, we have different thoughts about those experiences. And those different thoughts, that is what creates our point of view. And so often we think that our point of view is right and someone else's point of view is wrong. And what I want to suggest is that's just not the truth. They're just different. And that's okay. And in fact, it's a very beautiful thing to have so many different points of view in this human experience, because then it allows us, if we decide and choose to open our hearts and our minds to it, it allows us so much growth. It allows for so much opportunity to love instead of judge. It allows us to see things through the lens of someone else's experience, of someone else's life. And so I'm actually going to start with sharing a little bit about myself. So I am a woman. I'm the oldest of 7 children. I'm the only caramel-colored skin. Everyone else has blonde hair and blue eyes. My father's a teacher. I was adopted by my father. I had lots and lots of love in my life. I still do. I never knew my bio dad. I struggled with thoughts of feeling like I was enough, like I was worthy. I think they started as a teenager. And for me specifically, I think a part of it was that I didn't know my biological father. And so I created this story in my brain that he must have not loved me, or I must not have been enough for him. And that's why he didn't want to be a part of my life, which is just a story I created in my head because I didn't know any different. And turned out to totally not be true at all. But I just made that up. It's like crazy, right? If we don't know, if there's a part of our life that's a mystery, we create a story to fill the void. And our brain's just going to come up with whatever story. I don't know why my brain came up with one that, you're not enough. And if you were, then he would have chose to be a part of your life, right? Very silly, but that's where my brain went. And actually, it's not silly. It's just the human brain doing its thing. I'm also a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I was a very, very, very young single mother of 2, 21 actually. Not 21 children, but I was 21 years old, young single mother of 2. I have had my heart broken. And as probably everybody has, I feel like actually everybody hasn't. That's a lie. Some people have never had their heart broken, and that's awesome. I do think it's super healthy that I believe, this is my point of view, that a good heartbreak is very healthy for the soul. There's so much that we learn from heartbreak, and understanding and compassion for ourselves and for others. And then especially as parents, if we've had a heartbreak, we're able to understand when our children have heartbreaks, right? We can help prepare them, help them heal through the situation, have love and compassion. Other things, I am a mother of 5. I did find love. I married the man of my dreams, the love of my life. And he is not of the same faith as me. And so I really understand that point of view, having relationships with those of different faiths. I have children from 18 to 4 years old. So I have that point of view. And I understand struggling teens. I understand these are all have been parts of my life, parts of my trials. And these perspectives, these points of view, these experiences has created for me my point of view, has created my perspective, has created an understanding for me because I've had these experiences in my life. And what I want to bring to your attention is we all have different points of view. We all have different perspectives. And through these points of view and through these perspectives are that's how we come up with our different thoughts. That's how we come up with our different beliefs, or because of the things that have happened in our life. And what happens in this human experience is we decide, because we cannot, and a lot of the time we do not take the time to see through someone else's lens to the best of our ability. If we would take the time, and I do suggest this, I suggest taking the time and the effort in trying to see things from the lens of someone else's perspective, someone else's point of view. And the way that you do that is you have to drop the judgment. Okay? Judgment is not involved in this at all. You drop the judgment, you open your heart to love and curiosity. And you ask yourself, if I was to think that, like, where would my brain have to go? What would be the experiences I would have that would cause me to see things from that point of view, from that perspective? And this is a very hard thing to do. The truth is, for some of us, it's a little bit easier, and for others, it will feel nearly impossible. And I think it just takes practice. Just choosing to try to make the effort to drop the judgment and to try to see from their point of view, out of curiosity and out of love. Like, what experiences would someone need to have to think this way, to make those decisions? What would be going on in their brain? What could be their life experiences that have caused them to think this way and to see things this way or to act this way? And what happens when we choose to do this is we open up inside of us a whole nother level of love. We open up inside of us a level of understanding, a level of curiosity that can really bridge some gaps. If you have relationships where maybe you feel like it's just impossible to have a relationship with them because they think so differently than you, what I want to offer is that, one, that's a lie. You totally could if you wanted to, but you would have to be willing to drop the judgment. And that's what's so hard. We don't want to drop the judgment. We are like, no, but they're a terrible person. And it's like, are they really a terrible person just because they think differently than you? Or are you being very judgy and self-righteous? And if they're not a terrible person, if you can drop that judgment, okay, so I've decided they're not a terrible person. So then if they're not a terrible person, why would they choose to see it this way? Why would they choose to make that decision? Why would they take that action and try to see there? And, right now we are living in very interesting times, right? We have this quarantine going on, and it's like, wear a mask, don't wear a mask, they help, they don't help, stay home, don't stay home, right? Like, there's so much there's so much mixed information. It's like the people that are telling us you have to wear masks, don't go outside, but then they're like sitting next to all these people not wearing masks. Like, what? And so what I want to offer is that there's not, if you can drop the idea that there's a wrong or a right in this situation, and just that there's people with different perspectives and different points of view, and you get to choose yours. Okay? You get to choose if you want to believe that wearing a mask is going to be safe for you, or wearing a mask isn't going to be safe for you. You just get to choose. You get to decide. And of course, every time our last podcast was on decision making. So that same approach, right? Do all your research, look for, and with the information that you have, make the best educated decision, and then don't judge other people for making a different decision. And here's the truth. You get to do whatever you want. You could judge them all day long, but do you want to know what happens? That feels terrible for you. When you're in your car looking around at people and you're like, I cannot believe they are not wearing masks. That is so irresponsible. First of all, they don't even know you're thinking or saying that. They're just going on their dandy way. Who is it hard for? You. Who feels terrible inside? You. Who is it causing anxiety for? You. Who is it causing stress for? You. So I'm offering that if you can drop that judgment and just be like, yeah, I totally want to wear a mask. I'm all about wearing a mask 100%, and not and drop the judgment on if they decide to not wear masks, then they're terrible humans who don't love and care about the human race. That's very judgy. That's very self-righteous, and it just doesn't serve you at all. If it did serve you, if having those thoughts were going to make those humans wear masks and keep this world safer, yeah, 100%, I'd say let's go for it. But it isn't doing that. It's leaving you feeling icky inside, very angry and frustrated. And so I'm just offering an option of how you can feel better in this situation. And then, it's the same with driving, right? Some of us have road rage and we think people should drive a certain way. And when people don't drive that way, we like to yell or curse and scream. But the people driving the other car has no idea what you're doing. The only person who feels terrible is you. And actually, this is my husband actually. He actually doesn't road rage as bad anymore, but he used to seriously road rage a lot. And I used to be like, you're hurting my spirit. This is terrible. And then as I've been doing this work, I've just been able to say, oh, no. Like, I'm hurting my spirit because I'm choosing to think all these thoughts about my husband. I was being very judgy about him. That like, how can I be married to someone who like talks like that about other people, who yells at people like that? Like that's like, and I just made it. That was so dramatic. I made it such this huge deal. And as soon as I dropped all of my judgments, I can drive with him no problem. It's not a big deal. Like, yeah, sure, he yells at people. He does his thing. That's not about me. I decided to not make it about me. And I decided to not make it mean he's a terrible person, which is when I asked myself, like, I remember, just so you know, this work probably took me a good year and a half, maybe even 2 years of really just being like, I considered never driving with him again in my life. Like I was very dramatic and very judgy about it. And it was very terrible for me. Like he could care less. He's like, listen, I'm not yelling at you. Like, why are you being so bothered? And I'm like, would be like, because you're hurting my spirit. Like, that's like what I would tell him. And he'd be like, what? You're like crazy. And then when I just decided I was willing to let go of those thoughts of judgment towards him, that because he's not a bad person. He's amazing. He's awesome. He's incredible. And I love him a lot, like to death. Like I love him immensely. And yet we'd get in the car and then I'd have these thoughts of like, how did I choose to be married to somebody like this? Right? Ooh, hold on. Sorry, guys. All right. Sorry about that, you guys. So that I'd have these thoughts that were like, oh my gosh, like how could I have chosen to be married to somebody like this? Like basically I was telling myself a lie, which was like, oh my gosh, he must be a terrible person because he talks like this, right? And yells and rages, which wasn't the truth. He's not a terrible person, but I was making up the story in my head that was making me feel terrible. And then I was blaming it on him. What? Who's the crazy person there? That was me. It wasn't him at all. And I was fully giving him all the credit. Like, no, he's crazy. He's the one yelling and raging. And I'm feeling terrible because he can't control himself. But who couldn't control themselves? I couldn't. As soon as I flipped that around, he's actually road rages way less. And I don't even freak out whether he did or he didn't. I'm totally fine. So what I want to offer to you is that, and those were just two different points of view. My point of view was, good humans don't talk like that. They don't yell like that. They don't freak out like that. They don't road rage. which is insane. Tons of good humans totally road rage. What? Does it make someone a good human or not? But my brain was like spinning on that. And that I was right and he was wrong. His point of view was like, yeah, I'm driving and this is just like how I drive. Like I yell at people like it's not a big deal. And he wasn't being negatively affected by it. He doesn't care. It's not a big deal to him. And now I'm fine too. It's not a big deal to me either. And just by me being willing to change my point of view, being willing to change my thoughts, changed my whole experience of driving with him. Totally fine now. Totally fine. Like, it's so incredible. And so it's like, where are areas of your life where you are feeling very, very negatively affected and then you're blaming it on somebody else's actions? I was full blaming that on my husband. It wasn't him. It was me. My thoughts were telling me good humans don't road rage. Ridiculous, right? So your brain may be telling you good humans wear masks. Or good humans don't tell people who don't want to wear masks that they have to wear masks. And what I'm offering is it can be a good human. Both can be good humans. And we allow our brains to spin on going to places like that, so extreme, so dramatized. Oh, there must not be a good human. It doesn't serve us ever. And the person who ends up feeling terrible is you. And so when we can open up, right? And for me, I had to really try to see it from my husband's point of view. I'm like, okay, so here he is. He's got a lot of testosterone going inside of him, and he's driving, and there's these people, and he's like in like race mode. It feels like when he's on the road, like he's always like, if someone else is going faster than him, like he wants to, like it's like this fun game for him. And I was being so serious about it and making it just this bigger deal than it needed to be. And so when I was able to see like, oh my gosh, my husband's literally like playing a video game. He's like having fun. He's like in his thing. He's like, arr. Like, what? And I'm making it mean all of this drama. I dropped it and he doesn't even road rage as much. And I don't know. I don't know why he doesn't road rage as much. I mean, I know it has nothing to do with me, but it's incredible that that's just happened to be what happened. He doesn't road rage as much and it doesn't bother me at all. Like, I'm like, it's so interesting. And so I think, and maybe he does, maybe he totally road rages the same. I just don't notice it as much. Maybe that's it. I don't know. So when you can approach your life from this place of choosing to just be curious, choosing to be curious about why other people do the things they do. Why do they think the way they think? Rather than being so judgy about it, rather than being so self-righteous, right? I was being very self-righteous. Like, you're hurting my spirit. Like, I really felt like he was the problem. Like, I'm like, from the depths of my soul, I'm like, no. And I would even tell him like, no, seriously, you're damaging my spirit. I need you to stop. Like, I was damaging my spirit because I was having all of these terrible thoughts and I was blaming him. Right? Like, it makes so much sense to me now. But when I was in it, I was like, that's not possible. All he has to do is stop. And here's the problem when we put our happiness, I'm like, I have like this hair. What's going on? When we put our happiness in someone else's hands, is then they get to determine if we're happy or not. How does that serve us? That doesn't serve us at all. But when my happiness is in my hands and I decide I'm going to be happy no matter what. I mean, when I say happy, of course, I'm not going to be happy if something terrible happens. I want to be sad sometimes. I'm okay with being sad sometimes. But I mean, like, in like life situations, right? Like if I'm driving or I'm in the store and I see someone who's not wearing a mask, if I then decide that I am like, this is so terrible. How dare you not wear a mask? Or how dare you wear a mask, right? Like whichever way you go. I'm being very self-righteous. I'm being very judgy. And I am feeling a lot of negative emotion inside of me. And I think that they are creating it. My friend, I'm here to tell you, they are not creating any of it. You are creating all of it. And it's only because you're only choosing to see things from your point of view and you're not opening up to what might be their point of view. Why might they be thinking wearing a mask is what we all need to do, or not wearing a mask should be my choice? Why would somebody think that? And go to that place and really try to see it from a good, positive light on why would someone choose to think that way? Why would they choose to act that way? So that you can then, and you may not agree with it. I'm not suggesting that you need to see it from someone else's point of view and then change your mind. No, you can keep your point of view 100%. But if you see it from their point of view, now your perspective changes. You may want to keep your point of view, right? You may not change your mind at all. But now you're like, oh, okay, well, now I'm able to open my heart to curiosity and to love and understanding. And now when I see them wearing masks or not wearing masks, I don't feel so enraged inside. I don't feel so self-righteous. I don't feel like I need to go and tell them, my truth. Because we are all adults. We all have different points of view because of our different perspectives, because of our different life situations, because of the different things we've seen, the different things we've heard, the different our personal experiences, are the experiences others have shared to us. All of those things collectively create our point of view. We all have different points of view because we have different life experiences, different friends, different things that have happened to different friends, and they share with us their stories. And then we create our point of view. So what I'm offering is when we can drop the judgment and stop being so self-righteous and stop thinking that other people need to change the way they think, they need to change who they are, and they need to think just like me because I'm right and they're wrong. When we think in this way, it does not serve you. It does not serve me if I think in this way. So the reason I'm offering this is so you can feel better. You will feel better if you drop the judgment. Because guess what? They're going to do whatever they want to do despite your judgment, despite your self-righteousness, despite your, they should blah, 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 whatever, your outbursts on social media or in public. They're still going to do it their way. And in fact, someone's going to be more willing to hear you when you are kind and loving and you have an open mind to hearing their point of view. When you're willing to hear their point of view, they're more open and willing to hear your point of view. And when people are more open and willing and curious about why do other people think differently, we can get so much further in this world of lots of different ideas of what's right and what's wrong. If we can share and hear and learn to have conversations without needing to shut people down because they think differently than us, the room for growth is like insane. We can grow and progress on a personal level so much more when we're willing to learn and see things from someone else's lens. When we try to see the world through someone else's lens so we can see their point of view, we will have compassion, we will have love, we will have understanding. What that will do, that will create bridges where they are not anymore. Where there are division, where there is division, we can create bridges when we choose to try to see from someone else's point of view. Now, again, I'm not saying you have to change your point of view, but when you're not willing to hear someone else out, when you're not willing to try to go to their possibility of why they may think that without judging, okay? Now, if we're thinking, oh, I know why they think that because they want all the humans to die or because they don't care about people. That's not what I'm talking about. When you're willing to say, why would a good human think that? What would be the reason they would choose to think that? When you're willing to go there, then you're open and willing to grow, to learn, and to be more united, to become united. We cannot be united if everyone is walking around being very judgy and very self-righteous. That just creates division. And do you want to know what division does? It leaves us alone. It leaves us divided. And do you want to know what's going to make us strong as a community, as families, as a country? Is that we learn how to come together. And it doesn't mean we have to think the same. It doesn't mean we have to agree on everything. But we can agree to disagree. We can agree to give the other person's point of view time, right? Like we can agree that we're like, yeah, I'll totally take the time to see your point of view. Okay, I can see where you're coming from. I just don't agree with that. And then be okay. It's okay if you don't agree. It's okay if they don't agree with your point of view. So often we feel like we want them to see it from our point of view, and then they should definitely change their mind. That's okay if they don't change their mind. It's okay we can have healthy relationships. We can stay in healthy marriages. We can stay in healthy family relationships, friend relationships, work relationships, even with people who have a different political point of view. They have a different, whatever, all the different hot topics. They can have different points of view. And we can just agree to disagree. We can have conversations and learn from one another. And when we take the time to do that, we grow. When we take the time to do that, we become a more evolved human, because we're able to get out of our own way. We're able to drop the judgment. We're able to step in to, what would the word be? To adulthood, to emotional adulthood. So that's what I got for you guys today. Perspective, points of view. It's okay that someone has a different point of view as you. And what I want to leave with you too is this. So the essential oils that you're going to use for judgment, okay, if you are struggling with feeling judgmental, here's another thing I want to offer. Like if you are being judgmental, it's okay. Like we're human. We all judge. Let me just tell you, we all do it. I do it sometimes. Some of us do it more than others. And it's just because we haven't decided to not judge like that, right? Like you have to make a conscious effort and decision. Then you got to put the work in to switch up your thinking. And that's totally possible. You just haven't been doing it, and that's okay. You can work on it. This is just work. It's like the work of your life. It's the beautiful work that really just turns you and transforms you into the better version of yourself. So some of the essential oils, if you're struggling with being judgmental: geranium, rose, black pepper, forgive, pink pepper, and citronella. So if you are struggling with being judgmental, geranium, rose, black pepper, forgive, pink pepper, and citronella. My suggestion whenever I'm giving you these essential oils to use, well, one, doTERRA essential oils is the only oils that I recommend. They are hands down I want to just say the best oils on planet Earth. That's my opinion. But they're very high quality, very good. And I really trust the company. So that's what whenever I'm talking about oils, I'm talking about doTERRA. And then if you are feeling judged, okay, if you're struggling with feeling judged, and I just want to point out to you, if you are feeling judged, it's very possible that you are struggling with a victim mentality, which we will do a whole podcast on that. And that whenever you are the victim, you are not the one in power. You have handed your power away to someone who you probably don't want to have your power. And that's not necessary. You don't have to hand your power away. You don't have to be a victim. Okay. But if you're feeling judged, you're probably feeling a little victim-y. But here's some oils you can use: birch, clove, ginger, and cassia. Okay. Birch, clove, ginger, and cassia. If you're struggling with feeling judged by others. Now for judgmental, it says to see acceptance, which makes total sense, because if you're being very judgy, we judge people. If you find yourself judging other people a lot, it's probably very likely that you also are very harsh on judging yourself. And the first place you need to work on is self-acceptance. You need to accept yourself first, and then it will be easier for you to accept others. But if you have not mastered, or if you're really struggling with accepting yourself, it's going to be very hard for you, pretty much impossible for you to accept others. So work on self-acceptance. And the essential oils for acceptance is rose. Again, rose is so amazing. I just put it right under my nose. It is one of my favorite for sure. And it's the highest vibration of all the essential oils. So rose is really great. So acceptance: rose, bergamot. Bergamot's the oil of self-love. I'll put that right on your heart. Ylang-ylang, spikenard, jasmine, pink pepper, mauve, and beautiful. Those are the doTERRA essential oils for acceptance. And again, if you are struggling with being judgmental, acceptance is for sure another thing that you're struggling with for yourself. That's what I would bet. And this is what I want you to say, okay? And again, this is all from this book. Like, where is it? The essential oils. This is the newest edition, the 8th edition. When you do my program, I include this in my programs. You would get this. But here's what I want you to do. I want you to say, what am I afraid? What am I afraid of? Okay, so you're going to put the oils on you first. And you don't put all of them. Pick whatever oil you want. If you like a blend of 2 oils, use that. That's fine too. But at least use one of any of these oils that I named. And you're going to put them on you. Put them in your diffuser. You can put it on like perfume, put it on your wrists and the elbow creases, under your earlobes. Inhale it from the bottle, put a drop on the palm of your hands and inhale it. And I want you to inhale this, and then I want you to say this: what am I afraid of? Do I feel the need to defend against a real or a perceived threat? I am now safe and open to love. And then I want you to I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to imagine this, okay? I want you to imagine your muscles releasing tension and your breath becoming slow and even. Imagine what is no longer serving you flowing out of your body. Imagine what is no longer serving you flowing out of your body. Your judgments, they are not serving you. Your judgments of yourself and your judgments of others. Just let them go. Let them go. So that's for acceptance. So you guys, I've got this amazing 6-week program. I've got another round starting on June 8th. I work with 20 women, and it's one-on-one coaching. It's really awesome. It is an investment in yourself. And so often, right, like we don't think about it. We're like, oh, sure, $10,000 for a new roof. And of course you're like, oh man, I don't want to pay the $10,000 for my roof, but you do it, right? And it's the roof because you don't want your house to leak. You want to take care of your roof. Oh, we need a new paint job for the house. Oh, okay, we dropped $7,000, $10,000 to paint the house because we're like, oh, of course, like my house needs a paint job. But when it comes to ourselves, it's like we struggle. We struggle with spending the money, especially when it's thousands of dollars, right? But I want to tell you that my program is amazing. I want to tell you that my program will change your life, not for just the 6 weeks, but forever. I want to tell you that it is worth every single penny, and I want to tell you that you are worth it. And in my program, we use essential oils. All of the products in which you need for my program are included. I teach you how to make kombucha. This is my most recent batch. I continually make it all the time. I teach you how to make bone broth and sauerkraut. I think I'm adding kimchi. We haven't done it yet, but I'm going to film a video and add that in too. It includes all the books that you need. Your Modern Essentials book, your Essential Emotions book, I Am Worthy book, and it includes all your essential oils. We work to clean up your gut, to heal your brain. I teach you all the thought work. We do weekly coaching one-on-one on the phone or on Zoom, whichever is better for you. And it's an hour coaching call. And it is really incredible. Like, I have done an amazing job building this program for you. You get daily, Monday through Friday, you get emails from me with videos like this, actually. So you can either read the copy or you can just watch the video. I also include the recipes. So like I send a video of me making kombucha and the recipe, and I do the same with all the other recipes. So depending on how you learn, for me, I'm very visual. Like I love to listen. I click on audiobooks and I listen to them all the time. I love to listen to good podcasts. I love to watch videos, educational videos. That is how I like to learn. And so I know some people like to read, some people are visual and they want to see, some people need to listen. So I have included all of them. It includes a workbook. that you will get also, so that you can be doing your thought downloads and practicing the model. It does take work for you, right? Like my program, I have spent a lot of time and effort building this amazing 6-week program. You will be needing to, you will be needing, you will need to be willing. I apologize. You will need to be willing to put in the work. And it is work. Like, maybe you don't understand, but your brain is literally the most powerful tool on planet Earth is the human brain. And it is directly affected by your gut health. So that's why we work to clean up your gut. I get you started on some amazing supplements, and we clean up your eating. And the thing with your eating is you do get to choose, right? Like I suggest taking sugar, gluten, and dairy out, but you get to really come up with an eating plan that's good for you. And we talk about it. And then basically I'm also your accountability partner. We talk about scheduling. We get your sleep in order. We get you moving your body, get you exercising, because that's super important also. And so we clean up your inside, your house, right? We detox, we get all of your crappy cleaning products out and all good cleaning products in. And I teach you how to make cleaning products. I show you where you can buy good cleaning products that are green and clean and healthy for you. And it's just overall, basically, it's like a good scrub. It's like a good, it's like a good detox cleaning from the inside out, from your house to your brain to your body. And I'm just there to hold your hand the whole way. And I'm really good at what I do. So if you're ready and if you're willing to make the investment in yourself, this program begins June 8th and it is life changing. I am not kidding. And it is worth every penny. It will be the best investment you've ever made of your life. Have an amazing day. Reach out to me, call me, let me know if we're good, and we can do a call on the phone to see if we're a good fit. And remain unaltered, my friend, and own it, sister. If you are ready, let's do this.